Welcome to the stream. Welcome to live trading for Thursday night. I'm going to be showing you a bit of trades on Bitcoin and Ethereum. What I'm going to do is actually just share my screen with you. Today's a bit of a weird location. I am at my partner's house and not at my desk, so therefore I am trading just on my laptop with the mouse pad. Hence the description. This description is trade anywhere, anytime. Now, what I'm going to do is actually just share this window with you. All right, I'm just going to double check that this is what you can see. Now, it says it's a black screen, which is not good, because that's not what I'm... Okay, so this here is pretty much what I'm looking at right now. So we are on the daily time frame. Now, what I've been looking at over this past week and even last week was the fact that we hit a bit of liquidity above the support, this resistance line right here. We had a bit of a downfall, which actually then pointed into a bit of a symmetrical triangle. I then entered in at around the support line, or at the bottom of the symmetrical triangle. And as you can see, the first one stopped me out directly on my stop loss. So therefore, what I've been doing from then onwards is either moving my entry level to my stop loss. As you can see, this gray descending channel is actually exactly where the stop loss actually went, but also had stopped me out from there too. So what I've been doing from then onwards is actually moving my entry down to my stop loss and having my stop loss extend itself underneath the support line of this trend channel right here. Now we are on the daily time frame, so dropping down to a lower time frame. What I'm seeing here right now is actually we're going to delete this. We're going to restart. We're going to start fresh. Since this is last week's one. All right, so we will delete all of those drawings and start again. But we do want to check the correlations of what's actually been happening on a macro level. So I've got here the DXY. So simply reminding myself, if the DXY goes up, then Bitcoin does go down and vice versa. Now you can see I did catch a double top here. Neckline did get retested, and we had a big drop. After that big drop, we did actually catch the bottom of that support trend line here, which I have then watched and waited for it to come back in. It has also come all the way up to the double top line again, but it has failed to break that line. So as you can see on the DXY, I am trying to wait for confirmation above this blue line. Once this blue line is then tapped and confirmed, I will be entering for a short. If I was to delete all of this as well and start again, let's see what we can analyze for tonight. London session is now open. We are 2 hours into it. Now I've started to realize that the second the New York session is open, New York has been making a lot more of their moves. All right, reading this chart, going back to the daily. Now, I have a bit of a checklist here as well. So for the DXY, the dollar index, we are also looking at the volatility index, which means the fear and greed. We've got to remember, when people are fearful, you've got to be greedy, and when people are greedy, you've got to be fearful. So I have been looking at this. We've had a big spike up. That spike up is also staying in a bit of an accumulation phase right here. Now, this isn't giving me much information, but it is continuing to stay inside this trend line or this trend channel. So that's the only thing giving me confirmation on what I should be looking for. So I'm looking for, what am I looking for here? What am I looking for here? I would look for a bottom right here. And if we push below that, we will be then looking for a bearish move down to the support level right here. If it doesn't, I'm expecting it to then push up. But until then, I will be waiting and staying patient for price to move and show and reveal so I can then act upon. Now, going back to the DXY, let's draw in some technical analysis. Now, on my checklist here, we will start at the top. Which way is the trend going, for one? Well, we are in a bearish momentum move right now. So if I was to draw a trend line, support and resistance channel, I would actually go from March 2022 all the way to now. And drawing that in has given me a bit of confirmation that we are still in a bit of a bearish movement. I am going to thicken this line just to signify that this here is done on the daily. And we are also seeing a lot more liquidity come here, coming up to the tops. So this here is where a lot more money has been moved and rotated in. So once again, just reminding myself, If the DXY does go up, Bitcoin does go down, and vice versa. If Bitcoin goes up, the DXY goes down. So we are going to put this in. This here is support. What is this telling me? It's telling me we are at support and could signify a bullish move towards the upside, but what does this say for Bitcoin? Okay, remember, if DXY goes up, BTC goes down. And vice versa. So, in this case, we have hit support, creating liquidity, and could possibly start to rise, signaling a bearish move for Bitcoin. So now that I'm looking at it from a larger perspective as well, we're going to drop down to the 4-hour time frame. Dropping down to the 4-hour time frame, I am not seeing anything here. Although I am now seeing a bit of a fair value gap that has been respected only once. Below this fair value gap, you actually have an order block, which is sitting underneath that, creating liquidity for the down movement. As you can see, I'm just going to draw in the first fair value gap, which has actually been tapped quite beautifully. Very beautifully, actually. So right there, if this was to play out and I was to get inside this trade, I would have actually only gone for a 2-to-1. But as you can see, it has actually gone for a 7.9 ratio. That is what you call a beautiful fucking trade. After that, you can kind of see a double bottom. The double bottom has actually signified that there was a bit of a reversal. Now that reversal only went for 25 days. 25 days, so a month, and it went up 3.4%. It's not bad. We've also come back down and then once again respected that order block. This here is the order block. Right there. Now, as I draw this in, you can see it's been respected twice. Once. Almost a second time. I wouldn't actually confirm that as a second one. So what I'm then seeing is we could then come up, take out this order block liquidity right here. Sorry, take out just this liquidity and continue to this order block. But once again, if this continues, we will see a downside in Bitcoin. As I'm drawing this through, there is an actual correlation going on here inside of this trend channel. Now, I did see that double top. That's what I called out last week. Retested the neckline, continued in an absolute beautiful M figure. It has come up, but I am calling a bit of a fake out. This fake out will continue to the upside. See that? I'll draw it in. Look at this. Left shoulder, neckline, right shoulder, continuation. Then it's actually, see that? Retest the neckline. Enter on the neckline. Should have entered on the neckline and gone for the next high. That would have accumulated for a 2.61. Well, what we can do now, because I think that this is a fake out, so taking a look at this, I am actually going to move down to the hourly time frame. Now let's have a look. There is, so we had London open, New York drop before the pump. We also had London open, we had a pump up, New York staggered in accumulation. The next day, we had a London pump and a New York drop. I think we're going to see another New York drop before another pump. If you can see what I'm seeing right here, I've now just drawn this in. There is going to be a double. What would we call that? What would you even call that? It's like an ascending. It's an ascending channel in an ascending channel. So we could potentially drop back down to entry point before we continue to the upside. All right, so if I was to talk to myself, understand what and why I would get into this, I would wait for New York session. So the time right now is 8:30. So we are going to wait till 2200, 2300, 11 o'clock, New York open for that. It's failing to push above and create higher highs and new highs. Therefore, that's what signifies a fake out. The fake out is also signifying to me that, as I can actually see as I'm speaking, I really can see that price is struggling to actually come above. That there is giving me confirmation that the fake out is in play. We will be coming back down to here. Now I can see a little fair value gap. Now that fair value gap, if this fair value gap is respected and tested, I'm looking at more downside. That means more upside for Bitcoin actually. So if we go to Bitcoin's yes, and yes. So this matches exactly what I'm talking about. If the DXY does go down, Bitcoin does go up, and that will actually continue So this is the other question I've got to ask myself then. Where would I enter if I was? Obviously, I already did try. Above the accumulation phase. We're on our way up. So if I was to simply draw in a trend channel like that, we could simply see, right, okay. This is where I'm entering. Yep. I believe that when New York session opens, which is 2200, 2300, that's 1223 right there. Stop loss is below the last lows. Now, we could get another. Yeah, that's the accumulation. That's a hard one. I'm not going to force it because it's not showing my confirmation. Now, I don't need to take this trade, but I can kind of see exactly what's happened in the past in order for me. Yeah, okay, well, this blue line that I've actually drawn, that's an order block. I'm entering at 108,000. New York session opens, 108,000 will be targeted before we create new highs again. Now we are low. That's low to me. That's low. So that's what I would call a discount. That's a discount buy. Then we can sell at a premium at around 115 or hold it till the end of November. By the looks of it, November is looking quite bullish. So how many days would that, from today, 7 days, let's go to 4 hour. So how many, that there is 30 days from now, the end of November, you're looking at a 17%, which would actually push it to 170 grand, 127 grand. That's not impossible. But what does that look like at the bigger? I think that there is interesting. That's all I can say. That's interesting. I'm going to look at one more chart tonight. I'm just going to keep this stream nice and simple. All right. Well, as you can see on Litecoin, it is doing the exact same thing. So what we're seeing is we've bottomed out on all coins, stable coins, Litecoins, cryptos, all of them. Now that is correlating quite significantly with the DXY, isn't it? If I go back to that, look at this. Look at this. See? What do you see? I think tonight's going to be, we're going to go down. Yeah, we're going down. Tonight we're going down. We will hit 108,000 before we pump. 100%, 100%, 100%. Look at that. Look at that fair value gap right there. This here, that's take profit right there. Boom. That's perfect. Well, what's XRP doing? XRP is, well, we had the big drop. We had a big drop. That doesn't mean anything. That was just fucking Mr. Trump. Mr. fucking Pump and Trumpet. So if I go to Forex Factory, what are we looking at for tonight? So 10:30 we've got a member meeting. That's not important though. We've got the CBI industrial audit expectations. That's happening as we speak. It is a white paper as well, so we can have a look at what it will do to affect the markets. It's leading indicator of the economic health. Businesses react quickly to market conditions, and changes in their expectations can be early signal for future economic activities and spending and hiring as the investments arise. Survey for about 250 manufacturers. Okay, well, that's why the market's moving quite steadily now. This is ongoing as we speak. But then at 10:30 to 11 o'clock tonight, we just have retail sales monthly meetings. So the monthly release will not really affect it. It's a primary gauge of a consumer spending, which accounts for the majority of overall economic activity. So in the New York Times, which will be 11 o'clock tonight, 2300, we will see a drop. That drop will carry on into the morning, which will probably cause for a slow weekend. Well, XRP's got nothing to do with that, and it is staying steady. We had a fake out after a bit of a bull flag, double bull flag actually, but Trump spoke and drop. Got a bit of a Wyckoff theory method going off here, but that right there is not showing me anything, and I'm not gonna force anything either. That there looks like choppy indecision. So I'm going to stay away from that for a sec. MNT, USDT on a perpetual contract. This market looks quite healthy. We are once again seeing another bit of a downfall. We're coming up into a symmetrical triangle. I've probably seen this same pattern over 4 markets now. That kind of gives me a good idea on where the money's been rotated. So I'm going to leave that too. I'm not going to draw anything on this market. This market is, I'm going to let it play out. Now, Litecoin, on the other hand, as well as Ethereum, we will see New York's pump. We're going to get that dump again before the pump. Now, what's Ethereum showing? Okay. Yeah. I would say Ethereum is quite healthy right now. But do I see an entry? If I go back to this, what am I seeing? What am I seeing? What am I seeing there? Are you trying to make that happen? Or is it what made you put that there? Alright. Fair value gap. Perfect. We have come down. Support. That's 2. Which way is the trend going? We're bearish. This is bottom. What is the RSI doing? Mid. No, that's not correct. Let's wait. Set an alert on the blue line. We will continue to wait. Tomorrow we'll actually decipher whether we do get in this trade or not. If I do get in it for a buy, I'm targeting this fair value gap. If it drops below this white trend line, I'm getting in for a short and continuing to the support line. Therefore, we will create liquidity here, wipe it out before we go long. That's what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing. If I have a look at the DXY one more time, we've had the double top, equal highs, inside an ascending channel, which we have bottomed out at support. We have written that in. Delete that. Now we wait. On this, once again, if this does go down, Bitcoin will go up. And if this goes up, Bitcoin will go down. The time is 8:44. I will be ending it there. It was just a short stream tonight. How long? 32 minutes. I'm happy with that. Next week, on Tuesday and Wednesday, we will be going over exactly what I've gone over throughout today, Saturday and Sunday. I will watch it on Monday as well, just to kind of have a look. Although I don't normally dive deep into trades on Monday, it's specifically just me having a look at certain things. But I would like to see how the weekend will play out. I have a feeling that the weekend is going to be slow. So, yeah, look, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with tonight's stream and analysis. Any trades that I do take throughout the time from now until Tuesday, I will be journaling and making sure that I write down my whole thought process and why I will be getting into trades and why I won't be. But yes, that's me done for tonight. Thanks.